It is humid out here, son. What's up, everybody? We're back. We're here. We're doing another video. What are we doing today, though? What could it be? Well, as many of y'all know, we've had a little bit of a slight leak on our front fork tubes, and we didn't really pay too much attention to it because we had planned to swap that out once again in the future. The initial plan, which I'm not sure why I'm telling you because we're not going with that just yet, is to do gold fork tubes. That's what we were thinking about doing, and we're going with the Pro 1 Performance. They're about $450 where they don't exactly break the bank and you still get that good quality. Where initially we were gonna go with the Dyna length tubes of 25.5. For those that do not know, that the stock M8 Lowrider as well as the FXBBs, which is the Street Bob, have a 23.5 front fork tube length, where a +2 is gonna have you sitting at a stock Dyna height. So you can do stock Dyna tubes where it be Lowrider, Street Bob, etc. That's gonna give you a +2. Right now we're currently running the damper tube upgrade from Tracker Die. It helps lift your front end 2 inches, gives you a little bit more of preload when you're rolling around, and then we just have the stock spacer in there, where it makes for an okay ride. Definitely stiffened up a little bit, but when we put on our front dust seal, I may have somehow scratched the tubes, and that's what's caused that micro leak. And the other day we were riding and we were in the middle of a turn, we felt a little bit of a shake, we're like, cool. And then we were going and we hit another shake and we hit it, we felt it was either a bump or a divot, and the front end kind of wobbled for a little bit, and we're like, ooh. Ooh, that got squirrely. Shortly before that happened, thankfully we happened to have it, we scooped up some Dyna length. This is OEM Dyna stock length fork tubes. This is from a Lowrider S that we're gonna be putting onto the low, so it's gonna give us our +2. And the cool thing about OEM fork tubes is that they're pretty strong, that some of these other aftermarket, not saying that they're not strong, but the, whatever the word is, I think it's hardness, is not quite OEM style. But then again, you could always titanium nitride coat these and you'll have the same durability, whatever word I'm looking for, on your tubes. And the initial plan was to go with those tubes plus the Tracker Die damper rods, making a +4 up front, making us sit nice and tall, because we're wanting to get that same height that we had on our Dyna Street Bob, where it was sitting pretty tall. We were running 14.5 inches in the rear, and then we had a +3 in the front, I think, if I remember correctly. It was either +2 or +3, but it was pretty close to +3 because that hoe sat super tall, because we had the 2-inch kickstand block from Little Ricky's at the time. We also got some additional items for FXLR Ron Burgundy. Now, before we jump into that and show you what we have, I want to take this moment to, that if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button. If you find any value from today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, bump on over, hit that bell to be notified of any future videos when they drop, as soon as they drop. Also, quick little mid-announcement, also kind of an Easter egg, which isn't really an Easter egg, that our Pelican cases are going audio because we're going with a different setup. Well, kind of. It's same, but different. Where I'm pretty excited for it. I don't really want to reveal too much, so just stay tuned for that. That's gonna be kind of cool. It's really gonna make FXLR Ron Burgundy, where we may have to kind of adjust the name with the new setup and maybe call it the FXLR Rover, something with an R Roman, where it's traveling, because we're gonna be able to stack some serious miles with the new setup. In anticipation with our track day, we decided to get a little bit more stability. We have this Drag Specialties fork brace. I'm not sure if it's compatible because they said it wasn't. And a very inexpensive upgrade. We have our progressive heavy duty springs for the front end. I like a stiffer front end. That really makes sense, so that's not kind of what you said. This is around $100. That these are for the Dyna tubes. These will not work with your stock Lowrider, stock Street Bob. These are gonna be longer than the fork tubes. We'll actually mess with it and see just how, to see if it would work or not. But that is another reason why we went with those fork tubes, so we could run a different spring. There's still very limited aftermarket parts for these new M8 Sawtails, but I'm sure they're gonna come soon. And a little bit farther down the line, we're gonna go ahead and upgrade our front ends to GP suspension, but those are a lot more costly, so it might be a minute for that. But I figured, why not go ahead and give these a go, and it's actually worth spending the extra $100 on this, or if you'd be good with just adding a bigger spacer, give yourself a little more preload. Nothing special to these springs. Let's go ahead and open it. Oh, you have PVC spacers, which you could probably just go to Home Depot or Lowe's and scoop yourself up some. And then we have your progressive springs, because they're progressively wound. Here is the bottom, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the bottom, but luckily for us, there are some instructions. So we're gonna go ahead and disassemble the bike. Nothing crazy, nothing too in depth because we have done this before, so we'll probably do a couple highlights, maybe some speed ramps, and get going. But we're gonna go ahead and pull the fork tubes off of the Lowrider. Probably gonna make a mess here. Here is the upgrade progressive spring. Now it's gonna be interesting to see if this fits inside the stock Dyna tube. That's how it sits, compressed. We're gonna lift it. You might be able to get away with it, but you won't be able to run any spacer. It's pretty much just gonna be right there where the cap looks like it's gonna be right on it. So in theory, you might be able to run these without a spacer, just the fork cap, because right at, let's kind of snap it down a little bit, pretty much there, you're looking at maybe ½ an inch. You're looking at maybe an 1/8,1/4 of an inch, something before the bottom of your fork plug, your cap, is gonna hit the spring and compress, but that's just interesting to know. And so our damper tube should be in here somewhere. There it is. This is the tracker die upgraded damper rod. It's gonna be longer than your stock. That's the bottom, the spring. All right, we got some lighting up in her. So what you're gonna do is hit your dust cap. The good old fashioned screwdriver. We're just gonna put a little towel here so that way it's doesn't mess up our beautiful powder. That was easy. We just jinxed ourselves. Is you have this dust seal, you just work that out. Remove it. This looks like a bunch of grime, dude. Somehow that just got filled up with dirt. It is black. That you can see just a little bit of what we took off from there. Stick something in there, bring the clip out. It's not too difficult. It's already coming out. Boom, there it is. So take that out. And then this is gonna be just a couple pops. So you wanna recess it to see where you're at. Cool. 1, 2, 3. And then this was the piece I was looking for earlier. That is weird. It's like, there it is. I wonder if that's why it was sideways like that. That was interesting. So this is gonna go to the bottom of the damper rod. And then you have your lower bushing, you have your dust seal, this steel clip here, and that's your fork internal. Don't forget to drop in the damper tube bottom. And it should just find its way home. Insert the 49mm tubes into your fork lower. Drop in your damper tube. Let it slide on in there. Now we're just gonna go ahead and seat the dust seal. Just a couple good whacks should do it. And now what you're gonna do, we're just gonna put them in without any fluid, so that way we can use the weight of the spring to tie down the bolt and secure it to the damper rod, which is the damper rod bolt. To the instructions, you're going to want the progressively wound spring end, the tight coils. These are wider, so this is a tighter coil. You're going to want these facing down. These are on the bottom. It's in Dyna, 2006 to 2010. You want your spacer length of 4.3 inches. Anything else past that? FXDB, 2006 to 2017. 4.3 inches. Your Harley Davidson Dyna Lowrider, 2006 to 2017. Heavy duty rate spring is what we have. 4.3 inches. Well guys, that's gonna do it for this week's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, bump on over and hit that bell to be notified of any future videos when they drop. As soon as they drop, we're going to go ahead and enjoy Lime Creek, test out the new suspension, and we'll be getting back to y'all with an initial ride after we get some miles with the progressive heavy duty front fork springs. Again, as a recap, these are Dyna stock length fork tooth, putting us at 25.5 inches, which is a +2 for the newer M8 Softails. We're also running a heavier weight fork oil. We're running a 20 weight up front, paired with the heavy duty fork springs from Progressive. Initial impression, is it worth the $100? I say check it out, give it a gander if you have the disposable cash, the extra funds to test them out. That from stock for this FXLR, the setup that we have, we're not crazy aggressive, but it is an improvement from OEM. For $100, I say check it out, give it a gander. Let me know what you think if you end up doing. So until next time, appreciate y'all. Cheers, ride safe.